Hey, what's up, guys? It's Streaming Vibes here, and today we're gonna do a story time video. Hey, guys, so it's story time, and I'm not really sure what story to tell you. I think I'm gonna tell y'all the story of how I lost my best friend. No, let's do a rejection story. This is funny. And I admit, when I was a kid, I was not the most appealing kid. Like, seriously, I wish I had the picture to show y'all. But besides that, excuse me. Let's see. So I had freshly lost my I had freshly lost my best friend, and at the time I was like mostly by myself, or I tried to venture out to new people. So it was like, since me and my best friend had some of the same friends, so I was venturing out, and I finally started to talk to this girl, and she was like super cool, and it seemed like she was vibing with me. Product placement. So I was, so let's see. I freshly lost my best friend, and I was finding new friends since we both mostly had the same friends. And I came across this girl, and she was cool, and it seemed like she was vibing me. Money. But besides that. So then we started talking, and this was before I moved, and I thought, I thought I was mistaken. Sadly, I thought she was vibing me, as I said previously. So I asked, like, I dropped like subtle hints that I had like feelings, kind of low key, high key, all key, and she picked them up, and she asked me, and she was like, "Oh, do you like me?" And I was like, well, since you asked, I'll tell you. And I was like, low-key, yes, but I feel like you don't feel for me. And she straight up told me I was ugly, and I had to just take the L. And she told me that my best friend was cute, and she got it, my best friend. My ex-best friend. At the time, but by the time that they got together, we were like friends again, and he didn't know I liked her. But her friend liked me, and her friend was cuter, so I guess it was a positive. A one-upped. Yes? No? I don't know. But I'm sorry to cut this story short, but, well, no. I don't know. The story wasn't... I'll tell you guys another story. Double story time. Let's see. Oh, the one time that I was supposed to go on the date with this chick that I really liked. No name, we're just gonna call her Kiki for this time. No, that reminds me too much of someone. We're gonna call her Betsy. I don't know why Betsy is just the first actual name that came to mind. So, call her B. Her name is B. So, B and me, we were sitting in class, and I finally worked up the courage to ask her on a date. So, I sent a note, and wow, that sounds terrible. But I sent a note, and she was like, "Oh, sure, when?" And I was like, they sent the note back. I was like, "I'm not too sure, but I'll let you know," because we talked through Facebook. And I was like, "I don't know, I'm not sure, I'll let you know." And the teacher ended up taking the note. That's right, the teacher took the note, and she read it, and she thought that I was sweet for doing that, and instead of just like asking to go to the movies or something. And she was like, "Man, no, what she say?" It was funny, that's why. It's funny and awkward. Oh, she was like, "You're a gentleman. You could take my daughter out if you ever wanted." I was like, mind you, her daughter was older than me, and I was like, wow. I'm not sure if that was a sign or what, but I did not take it. And eventually, it was the day of the date. Now, the day of the date, I was like all freshened up. I took like an extra long shower, shampooed the mess out of my hair, like put on my special colognes, my good deodorant, had on my good little outfit. I was ready, and we were supposed to everywhere else. I didn't know, and we were supposed to go to like the movies, and after the movies, we were gonna like get food. So we were gonna get food at what was it? BJ's. There you go, because they had hot wings, and at the time, I really liked hot wings. I don't know why. Hot wings are good, especially boneless ones. And you just pop them in your mouth like nuggets. But yeah, so come the day, I was all ready, and then I called to make sure she was ready, and that's when things start to go downhill. So first off, she wasn't in town until like later that day, and my mom was like, okay, well, I'll wait. And then she was like, okay, thank you so much for like being understanding and being so cool about it. And I was like, oh, sure, no problem. Now, mind you, this girl was very pretty. I mean, like, out of a 1 to 10, well, from 1 to 10, she was at least a 30. And I mean, man. Well, I wish it went through, but it didn't. So what happened was, she said that her grandma said she couldn't go, and I had called her grandma. Like, she told me to talk to her grandma. I didn't call her grandma. I'm not that weird. I'm not that desperate for a date. So I called, like, she told me to do it, so I called her grandma, and her grandma was like, oh, okay, just, I'll tell her to let me, to call you when she's ready. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And she was like, oh, you seem like a nice kid, just make sure to be appropriate. And I was like, okay. No, I wasn't trying to be. But that's the story for another time. So, what happened next? No, I'm not making this up. No, I'm not. These stories are factual stories about my life. It's just, I have a bad memory. So, what happened? So then I called her because she was like, call me an hour to make sure, and I'll let you know if I'm ready by then. And so I called back an hour later, and she was like, oh, my granny said I can't go. My heart sank because I was dripping with swagoo, and I was ready to go on a date and have fun and get food and see a good movie and, cuddle a bit, but it didn't happen. So I took the L, and like the next day, she was like, yeah, so my granny says no. And I was like, oh, she told me that it was okay for you to go. And then she was like, yeah, I know, but when I asked, she was like, oh, no, you can't go. I was just like, okay. So I got stood up, basically. And we didn't really talk much, and she eventually ended up dating someone else, and I ended up dating a girlfriend that I really wish that I could still date. But I moved. I hate moving. It ruins. But like, I didn't move houses, I moved schools. And like, she went to Bret Hart, and I was like, I'm not going to that bad school because that school is terrible. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, that has been the story time. The moral of the story is just take it with a pinch of salt sometimes. I don't think I'm using that term right. But, not everything works out for the best. And thanks for listening to me rant about my life and forget half of it. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. And on any social media platform as much as possible. Show all your friends. Thank you. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Streaming Vibes here, and today we're gonna do a story time video. So guys, yeah, so while we were at the movies, I was going and I was